Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm a professional actor living in Lethbridge, a creative and resilient little city nestled into the coulees amidst the vast prairie landscape of Alberta. This city, its people and views, have stolen my heart over the years, much like the works and words of a certain poet, William Shakespeare. Welcome to Thy Bard Shake Sonnet, where I sit down with a handful of local Lethbridge artists like myself to both shake down and shake up a handful of Shakespeare's age-old sonnets. Each artist and I will discuss a single sonnet over the course of an episode before creating our very own in the next.
One, two, 3, 4. Shake Sonnet.
In this episode, we are shaking down none other than William Shakespeare's 104th sonnet. But we needn't do so alone. Oh no. Please join me in welcoming Victoria Nestrovich. Victoria was born and raised in Lethbridge, Alberta. After graduating, she attained a 3-year diploma in musical theatre performance from Sheridan College in Oakville, Ontario. She worked professionally in theatre, film, and television for almost 10 years throughout Canada before coming back to Alberta shortly after getting married to start her family. She now works with the public school district as a Learning Commons facilitator and finds this extremely rewarding and inspiring. Thank you so much for being here with me today, Victoria, and thank you to everybody tuning in. I do want to take a quick moment to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 7 territory, which is also home to Métis Nation Region 3. First things first, let's take a look at Sonnet 104 in its entirety. To me, fair friend, you never can be old, for as you were when first your eye I eyed, such seems your beauty still. 3 winters cold have from the forests shook 3 summers' pride. 3 beauteous springs to yellow autumn turned. In process of the seasons have I seen 3 April perfumes in 3 hot Junes burned, since first I saw you fresh, which yet are green. Ah, yet doth beauty like a dial hand steal from his figure, and no pace perceived. So your sweet hue, which methinks still doth stand, hath motion, and mine eye may be deceived. For fear of which, hear this, thou age unbred, ere you were born was beauty's summer dead. So yeah, what does this sonnet kind of mean to you? Like, how do you read this sonnet? What stands out to you in there?
To me, it's somebody in love with not only another person's natural beauty, but the natural beauty of the world.
Awesome. So let's take a look at stanza 1, lines 1 through 4, and see what stands out to us. To me, fair friend, you never can be old, for as you were when first your eye I eyed, such seems your beauty still. 3 winters cold have from the forests shook 3 summers' pride. So what stands out to you in this first stanza of Sonnet 104?
It sort of talks about the natural beauty, but it goes deeper in where it talks about there are these changes. It's not that things don't change, or maybe things are sort of maybe ugly at some point, sort of a thing.
That idea of something may be ugly at one time, but that feeds into their beauty, I think, because because you don't get to see it all the time. It's
Yeah.
not always there, always on. It's like,
Being a woman, and I'm sure that men can feel like this too, it's just like you always sort of have to be on. There's
Right.
just always this expectation that you need to be on all the time, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and that's just not that's not sustainable. And
Nope.
it's who Shakespeare writing this, they're accepting of that, and that's, I think, really important.
and so what color does this first stanza bring to mind for you?
This one could be like a lightish blue color.
Light blue?
Yeah.
Light blue it is. So let's jump into stanza 2 of Sonnet 104 and see what stands out to us. 3 beauteous springs to yellow autumn turned. In process of the seasons have I seen 3 April perfumes in 3 hot Junes burned. Since first I saw you fresh, which yet are green. And so what stands out to you in this stanza?
I like how the seasons through time, and again, just like this process that's going on in the seasons and the change, and it might not always be like beautiful. It still feels fresh and it still feels green. So
Yeah, and I love what you're saying about the cycle of things, and yeah, like definitely that line 7, 3 April perfumes and 3 hot Junes burned. So, like that actually makes me think of like like forest fires and stuff, like wildfires that we actually have here in like Alberta quite
Yeah.
a bit. According to Alberta wildfire statistics, there were 1,308 wildfires in 2021 alone.
I find it interesting, the season of autumn. I find it like, personally, I absolutely love the season of autumn. I think it's because I was born maybe during that time. That's
Okay.
like when my birthday is, so maybe
Yeah.
that's why it's my season. But I love I like that they've used that in this as well. So where they talk about the beauty of spring, but then it's, autumn's kind of turned that around. So maybe it's not the same, but it's still beautiful.
Great. And so what color does this stanza bring to mind for you?
I guess because it ends with the word green, I'm thinking green. And you've got the yellow and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to go with green.
Green it is. Awesome. So let's take a look at stanza 3, lines 9 through 12, and see what stands out to us. Ah, yet doth beauty like a dial hand steal from his figure, and no pace perceived. So your sweet hue, which methinks still doth stand, hath motion, and mine eye may be deceived. He's got the ah in there, but what else stands out to you in this stanza?
The dial hand, it being like a clock or something like that, has usually the beauty of, a figure of a person is stolen by the clock, by the hands of time, and then, but in this case, there's been no pace perceived, so that, there's still sort of, time is standing still. They're sort of making time stand still with how they appear, I suppose. And then, it's changed, right, where they're like, whoa, or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, I love what you're saying about, especially towards the end, that kind of seed of doubt maybe being spread and or sown. And I love what you mentioned about the dial hand, and it kind of feels like kind of industrial, like it kind of brings an industrial element to it for me.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
what color does this third stanza make you think of?
I'm gonna say pink because they use like the sweet hue and methinks, and again, it's a little bit romantic, right? So
And I also think like it brings to mind like like rose color or rose tinted glasses.
Yeah.
Like, are they looking at this person through these and like they take them off and they're like, wait a second, or are they putting them on? And yeah, for sure.
definitely.
Rose tint pink, 'tis. Great. So let's dive into our rhyming couplet at the end here, lines 13 and 14, and see what stands out to us. For fear of which, hear this, thou age unbred. Ere you were born was beauty's summer dead. What stands out to you in this rhyming couplet at the end?
I mean, beauty's summer's dead, obviously, is huge. So kind of like that blossoming is just not going to happen anymore. It's heavy to say that, and also makes me think of like, so do we really even know what beauty is? Like, do we know? So yeah, it's interesting. And even if I think about like my past and you look back on pictures from your past, and this is something that really comes to me, is like a lot of our photos up until, you know, maybe 10 years ago weren't digital, it was film. And I go back and I look at it and I'm like, oh, it's so gorgeous. Like everybody looks flawless and beautiful, right? But then when you look at digital stuff, you can see every little mark and every little thing, right? And so, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, maybe it's more real or maybe it's more true to life, but when you look back and you look at pictures and film and stuff like that, I just absolutely love film. So, you know, maybe I'm just being really nostalgic, and so is this writer. They're just sort of nostalgic.
Yeah.
Did you know in 2022, AE Cross Studio celebrated its centennial as the oldest continuously operated photographic studio in Lethbridge? Over 100 years ago now, Alfred Ernest Cross emigrated from England, eventually settling in Lethbridge, where he established a photography business in the downtown core.
And so what color does this rhyming couplet at the end here make you think of?
I'm going to go with like a deep purple.
Ooh, deep purple.
Yeah.
Is there a reason?
It is like a deep color.
Yeah.
So it sort of brings in that fear element a little bit.
Right.
And then summer's dead. So I suppose like, you know, it's purple's still a really like nice color, I think. I love purple. It's my favorite color. So
Right
it's still a nice color to look at, but yeah, it reads elderly to me. Like it reads sort of older, yet still kind of
Regal.
regal. Yeah.
Awesome.
Regal indeed. Deep purple it is. Stay tuned for the next episode where Daniel and Victoria shake up Sonnet 104.